If Will were ever going to try to grow a beard, it would literally look like a.
It's not good.
A teenage boy.
Yes, I look like a teenage little boy. It's bad.
It's not good.
Yeah. You know, I can't grow any hair on my head, so.
Hey everybody, William here, and
Sarah,
and
Aaron.
So today we're here with Aaron, and Aaron is a friend who owns a local barbecue shop. So let's get that, that plug. Get the plug out of the way. Yeah. So tell me about your barbecue shop real quick.
Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply. We kind of try to check every box for grilling and barbecue. So. You guys, I feel like...
And you do.
Why am I telling you guys this? You know all too well. So, meats, seafoods, 150 rubs, over 100 sauces, grills, smokers, heavy equipment, everything you can think of, pizza ovens.
Yeah.
All the good ones.
Everything you guys have in your yard.
Yeah. Basically, there's a yearly delivery of some kind to our house.
Yeah, and this year it'll be the new outside kitchen.
No, Will.
Yes.
That we've got to
like that idea.
Yeah.
We've got to set a goal for that.
I'm envious.
I have set that goal for that. That goal is for the outside kitchen.
Well, anyway, so Aaron, if they wanted to find your barbecue shop, where would they go?
So we're believe it or not, in Minnetonka, but when people think about Minnetonka, they think of like out towards the lake, and we're not. We're I was telling somebody today, we're like 200 yards away from Hopkins. We're about 200 yards away from Eden Prairie, but we're actually in Minnetonka. So we're just north of Highway 62 on Shady Oak Road in Sundial Center. So Yo-Yo Donuts, Scoreboard.
The popcorn shop.
Popcorn. So
great popcorn.
They just did us a favor and moved down the couple doors so that we get more space. But yeah, popcorn's awesome. Sue's amazing. So that's I think I live on popcorn and Coors Light at this point.
I mean,
it's not a bad life.
I'm kind of envious.
My doctor would probably disagree.
Is that how you get to grow a beard? Coors Light and popcorn?
I don't know. It's when you. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how she let me get away with it.
Well, I have a question. When did the beard growing start?
Okay, hold on. No. Back up.
I have questions.
No.
For someone who doesn't grow any hair.
Okay, leave me alone. I am not a part of this conversation here. I'm gonna ask the questions, not be subject to the questions.
If Will were ever going to try to grow a beard, it would literally look like a.
It's not good.
A teenage boy.
Yes, I look like a teenage little boy. It's bad.
It's not good.
Yeah.
You know, I can't grow any hair on my head, so. Yeah.
We all have something.
It works. All right, so tell us about you. Like, where were you born? Where did you grow up? You know, don't say I was born here and then I went to high school and college. Like, you know, tell us as much as you want to share.
College.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to that part.
Oh, I can't wait.
I was born in Duluth, Minnesota. But I think I was there for about a half a minute. My older brother was born there. I was born there, and my dad, he was from Denver, and he hated Minnesota winters. So
especially Duluth ones.
Yeah. So my mom and dad. No, wait. I'm sorry. My dad was from Minnesota. Let me get this right. My mom's going to listen to this and like, wait a minute. My mom is from Denver. My dad was from Minnesota, but he always hated winters. So, but he had a small business up in Minnesota, and after I came along, for whatever reason, my dad, I always called him the Marlboro Man. He's since gone, but because he was the Marlboro Man. But he always wanted to be in the country. So we moved from Minnesota to Denver. We were in Denver for a hot minute, and then we moved to a place called Farmington, New Mexico. Actually, La Plata is where our house was, but his business was in Farmington. And he sold classic cars. His car lot was known as Year-Round Car Show. Which was sweet when you're a kid, because, you know, we had nothing but classics and, you know, Novas and Chevelles and Corvettes and, you know, T-Buckets and Roadsters, and it was awesome. But we grew up, our house is in La Plata, New Mexico, just south of Durango, Colorado, and we had a dirt runway next to my house. My dad he was a pilot, so we had
A
Wow.
plane?
airplanes. Yeah. So we would jump in.
Get out.
It was nuts. We would jump on my dad's Cessna. It was crazy. It was looking back. We had.
You thought you loved Aaron before, and now Will's like gonna have more crushes.
It's so funny when you're a kid. Sorry kids, but you're an idiot. You don't know how good you have it,
100%.
and all you want is what you don't have.
Yeah.
So the whole time I grew up, my nearest neighbor was like a mile away. So you're friends with whoever you're neighbors with, and my buddy Joe Dan was, he was my neighbor, but it was just, you're out there with just whoever you ride the school bus with.
Right,
It was 12
absolutely.
miles to school, so.
Yep.
So anyway, it was awesome. We had motorcycles and dune buggies and airplanes, and every day I get home and not do my homework, and
Because you had all these activities.
oh yeah, shoot guns. I mean, it was just the Bureau of Land Management land was right, basically next to where we lived. So BLM land, if you've never heard of it, is just wide open space that's owned by the government because nobody wants it. It's just dirt.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you have a motorcycle or you ride a horse, it's just like God's country.
It's like right there.
Just take off and come back later, and it's awesome. So yeah, so we did that until I got into high school, junior high school.
Okay, now hold on. So, elementary school.
Oh yeah.
Were we a good student? Were we a shithead?
Mostly shithead.
Okay.
He had dune buggies to ride.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
Planes to fly.
Yeah.
If you talk to anybody that knows me, I am squirrel. Constantly like there's got to. I'm thinking about 15 different things all the time, and yeah, no, not a great student. I don't think I was a pain in the ass to him. I was just not really plugged in. I was doing my own thing, but yeah, I went to Swinburne Elementary in little old Farmington, New Mexico.
Wow.
And yeah, it was pretty cool. Very diverse group of students. Yeah, it was. I couldn't have picked a spot that would have been more just kind
How
of
did
crazy
they
place
pick
to grow up.
Farmington, New Mexico?
I don't think I ever asked my dad that. I remember when we lived, because I was a little tiny kid when we moved there. I think I was a second grader.
Yeah.
And when we lived in Denver, I remember hearing, because I'm going to show my age now. Believe it or not, before these things,
Before cell
when
phones.
you wanted to see where things are, you went to this big book and you had to page through different states and then see this road goes here, and then you flip over to New Mexico and they see that's the same road that was in Colorado, but now it's in New Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah, and so my dad, I remember him like pulling this book out and going, "Yeah, we're moving here," and I had no perspective. I'm like, "Is that like down the road?"
Yeah. How far away is that?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got a job he was working for a car dealership in Denver, and then got a job in New Mexico because probably nobody took jobs there. I don't know.
Nobody's
and then
moving there on purpose,
he ended up with his own business, with the hot rod business. But
You told me something pretty cool off air a little bit ago that your dad ran the largest Corvette.
yeah, I don't know what it is today, but he used to run an organization called High Country Corvette Club. So High Country was, I don't even know, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, definitely the Four Corners area. And then I don't even know how they communicated back then. Now that I think about it, there was no email. I don't know how you.
Yeah, they mailed a monthly newsletter or something.
Yeah, I think they must have. But so we'd have rallies at my house with like 300 Corvettes, and
Wow.
it was just nuts. It was
Were you an
if can
only
imagine-
child?
No, he had a brother.
No, I had a brother, older brother.
Okay.
Yeah, but we if you can imagine, I'm older than you guys, but you ever seen the older Burt Reynolds movies?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah. Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah.
So that was my life. It was just all these absolutely drunken, probably coked out,
Yeah,
and then it was just a bunch of super entertaining, wild, crazy, cowboy-ish guys. It was really fun.
Okay, and you're in like 2nd through 5th grade while this is going on.
Yeah, something like that. 2nd through 7th or 8th, I think.
So times where you'll actually remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a dirt runway for airplanes.
Yeah. Yep.
Dune buggies, dirt bikes, go-karts, the
Yeah.
whole shebang. and dudes who had badass cars. Like there was some stuff happening.
Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah.
Like I just like this. Y'all weren't getting together after church.
No. There was. It's funny too because my dad would get up and go to work, and honestly, I started working full time every summer for my dad when we got to. Well, he started his first car lot was Billy's Auto Sales, this little tiny car lot, and my brother and I. I don't know if it was my mom's idea or my dad's, but they were like, "You're going to work. There's no summers. You don't just get to hang at the ranch during the summer.
That's not how
You're
this
going
works."
to work." I sold my first car, I think, when I was in third grade.
Wow.
Might have been fourth. 1932 Ford. My dad had on the lot.
What?
Yeah. I knew everything about it. I loved the car, and I was just this guy showed up, and so we had a little tiny gas station. So I mean, I was selling cigarettes and fuel, and I was filling propane tanks when I was in fourth grade.
Get out of taking the 20-pounders and putting them up to the tank.
And it was nuts. Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
I have so many questions.
Didn't he say he's like, I'm not an interesting guy when we were emailing back and forth?
I'm like, I'm sure there's something.
Like,
well,
you're probably committing felonies even talking about some of this stuff.
We'll try to avoid some of those.
There we go. You do get final edit on this, so you can be like, Dave, edit.
I need Dave's number.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we're in middle school. We've already sold the 1932 Ford.
You've worked every summer since practically you were born.
Yeah.
Airplanes,
and
like what's going on in like how do you what? Like now what are you doing?
I got to go back to so I started working so young, and I keep looking at my Social Security statement and go, God damn it, Dad! I should have been paying Social Security when I was in second grade.
Why do I need those more years?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. Middle school, we did all the normal, kid stuff.
Yep.
I played sports terribly, and my mom ran us around, and we did a little bit of everything. My brother and I, at that point, my brother got a guitar.
Okay.
And then it was like, I just remember being a kid and like, you don't know anything about a guitar, but if your brother has one, he's got to be badass. That's got to be like, holy shit, my brother's got a guitar.
Yeah.
So he got into that, and then my dad, feeling like he left me out, I think when my brother got a guitar, he got me a banjo, which is super cool. And actually, I took a bunch of.
Cool.
I learned to play hammer thumb banjo when I was I don't know, young guy. I didn't stick with it because it was banjo.
Banjos are badass though. Like that's so.
Yeah.
That's so oh my gosh. Okay.
So then, because he was a guitar player, I started playing bass, and so we were,
You had your little rock band.
We did. Yeah, we in my dad's garage. We got people together, and it was. We met other guys, and so that was kind of the next.
What was the name of your band?
Which one? There's been a lot.
What's the one you remember? Like
man,
the one that you knew was gonna make it that didn't.
Oh God. I can't even think. My brother's band was called Stainless Steel.
Okay.
Yeah, and me and my buddies, I don't even know if we had a name. I honestly don't think we did.
Okay.
At that point when I was a kid. There's been way too many bands since then.
Stainless Steel definitely needed a banjo in it though. That's all I'm trying to say. That would have
worked.
We could have been way
dangerous.
ahead of our time, but no, we so that was in Farmington. I never La Plata. He was playing more than I was, and we were just figuring it out. I can't imagine my parents, and thank God the neighbors were a mile away. It's like, oh my God, how many times can you play Living After Midnight? Just stop.
Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap.
Yeah, lots of AC/DC. Yep.
What did your mom do during this time? Like, was she working, or was she
that's
just...
a good question. What was my mom doing? My mom used to take us to the gun store in downtown Farmington. I'm not kidding. We didn't get guns. We had a house full of guns. And you know how we decided what guns we were going to shoot? We would find the bullets that...
Whichever ones,
yeah. Literally, my dad would come home, and there's long stories about that too, but we played with black powder.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Remember those rocket igniters,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would take Pringles cans. My mom would let us buy black powder, and we would go home and put, I don't know, half a cup in the bottom of a Pringles can. We'd take a tennis ball and soak it in gasoline.
Yep.
And put a nail through it, put the tennis ball in, and then we'd sit there with our rocket igniter and basically blast flaming tennis balls into the universe.
And I bet you had a great time.
It was, but who does that with their children?
I don't know.
My mom.
I built
Yeah.
a pipe bomb with my uncle when I was like 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
What state was that in?
That was here in Minnesota. That was in Albert Lee, out in the
Okay.
middle of nowhere.
Did you have a target for the pipe bomb, or was it just...
Good
We're going to
question.
totally get
Good question.
flagged. This episode is flagged.
There's so many reasons.
my uncle Brian,
Maybe you shouldn't mention names.
he's a hillbilly, like flat out, like there's no doubt around it. And one day he's like, "Hey Willie, come here." I'm like, "Okay." So we're in Grandma's kitchen, and I see he's crimping this pipe, and we're putting. I'm not gonna say how we did it, but
Not too detailed.
All I know is I'm like, and then drilling the hole for the fuse, and he goes, "Okay, we're gonna go outside and we're gonna light this. I need you to light it, then run like hell."
Oh my god.
He made you
that was-
light it?
Yeah. That should have been my first band name, Run Like Hell. Yeah, there was a lot of my life.
And we blew up a stack of tires. I mean, it shredded them, man. It left a crater, and
Wow.
yeah, that was.
He was way ahead of his time building pipe bombs. I feel.
85, 87, something like
Well,
that.
how old
know.
were you?
I was like 7-ish, so
That would have
87.
been 87, Will.
Yeah, I was a young man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young kid.
Wow.
Definitely a kid.
See, it's not just
No,
not just me and my
no,
brother.
just Run Like Hell. That's a good band name, Run Like Hell.
Yep.
Okay, so we're in middle school and we're surviving and we're rock stars and
Yeah, budding.
budding rock stars. Now we're in high school. Like, you're playing sports badly. Like how are you doing, like, student wise? Like, are you a
About
pain
the
in the
same.
ass now? Or are you just still kind of the same?
Oh God. So somewhere in there, I realized there were girls, and then I was already distracted by everything in the room, and
Yeah.
whatever was happening. If anything outside in New Mexico, there's nothing. But I was constantly distracted, and then there's girls, and I was just no. Junior high school, I was, I think everybody thought I smoked a lot of pot, but I never did. I swear to God, I was just not. I was all over the map.
Just a space cadet.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so 7th or 8th grade, we moved, and that was so we moved to the enemy town.
Ooh.
If you play sports in school,
Yeah,
you
okay.
know that you have an enemy.
The rival. Yep.
Yeah, and so, oh God, this is going to be, my brain's going 100 miles an hour. So we went from a place, La Plata, New Mexico, just south of Durango, to a place called Gallup, New Mexico. So have you ever driven across New Mexico?
One time when I was a young kid.
I don't think so.
There's not a lot.
No. And so getting from Farmington to Gallup, you go down Highway 666. Not kidding.
No way.
No, I'm not kidding.
Come
It's
on.
one of the evil things our government did with the Indian population, and I had to be on purpose. But so the highway that crosses from Farmington to Gallup goes right across the middle of the Navajo Indian Reservation, and it's Shiprock, New Mexico. That's that territory.
We know that. Side note, we have somebody who did a college piece on the Navajo in the Shiprock area, and it's actually in the Smithsonian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
We do.
It's crazy.
Super
So-
random. Sorry, continue. Okay, so you're traveling down the Devil's Highway
Yeah.
to
Yep.
the new place you're going to live because your parents hate you, obviously.
Well, I sure thought
Bigger
so.
car
lot.
I was
Yeah.
convinced they did because, Farmington wasn't great, but Gallup was like, oh my God. Gallup is, I call it the armpit of the universe. And I've got friends there, and,
They'll agree with
I
you.
had a good time in
Yeah.
Gallup. I really did. But it was like, so two things. I was almost driving age. My dad sold nothing but hot rods, and my brother in junior high school had a Corvette.
Of course he did.
No, he
Uh-oh.
didn't. He had an El Camino. High school, he had a
Oh,
Corvette.
El Caminos are sweet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
he
the one
had
that has like the truck in the back?
Yep, yep. So he had a Corvette.
Good job, babe.
Yeah, it was a Corvette yellow El Camino. But then later in high school, he had a Corvette. But so my dad changed businesses. He went from hot rods, because I think you can only sell so many hot rods in northern New Mexico.
Yep.
He got into farm equipment.
That is quite the change.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm right at the age I'm going to get my first car, and I'm thinking about, God, what's my dad?
Where's that 32 Ford?
Am I going to have a Camaro or a Chevelle or? Yeah, no. So
What'd you get?
We sold Ford New Holland equipment. So I think my first car was a Capri. I want to say Chevy.
Isn't that a hatchback?
Yeah, it was kind of a hatch. Everything was coming apart at the time. It was not a good car, and it was not a chick magnet. Neither was I. So my car and I went together.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so
living the rock star lifestyle.
I stopped playing sports because I refused to play for the enemy team, and real smart. So I just kind of went to school, sort of.
Okay.
And same thing, still worked for Dad. So I was working in the shop, and
So what was the mascot for the high school?
Bengals.
The fighting Bengals.
Yeah, it was
Good
the Gallup Bengals, which is what?
It's a horrible name.
You're in New Mexico. It should have been like the tumbleweeds, something.
Tarantulas.
Armadillos.
Something. Yeah, not
know.
Bengals. I don't know how they come up with that idea, but yeah. So went to Gallup High School for a little bit, and then didn't.
Okay, so you just quit school? You're like, I'm out?
Yeah. So So again, my mom, she's God love her. My parents never so much drove by a college and said, that big thing on the hill, that's where you go after high school. Mm-hmm. That's next. And it was never, at least the way I remember it, it was never part of the conversation. My mom will probably tell me I'm wrong. So my brother and I think the kind of the expectation was you're just going to keep working in the family business.
Yeah, work in the shop.
And that was definitely what my brother was going to do. But my brother was great in school, and he was in choir and did all kinds of, he was always good. And I got a job at a place called Uncle Hiwatt's Cartoons, and I was installing car audio equipment when I was 15, 16.
Yeah.
And a guy named Roy Lindersmith hired me, and so I was working for Roy, and I came to work one day, and Roy said, man, I got to let you go. And I'm like, what do you mean? I was like 15 or 16. I didn't even know what that meant. And he was like, I got to get somebody full time. You can't be here enough. I got to get somebody that can work full time. I'm like, oh. I'm like, well, that's not. I'll just quit. I'll just quit school. Mm-hmm. And
logical.
So this is the way New Mexico works. He said, okay. That was it. He's like, no, don't do that. No. He's like, oh, okay. Made his life easier. So yeah.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah. So 10th grade, I decided to quit school. I wasn't very good at. I mean, I could do school. I just wasn't very good at it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I did the big bold thing and went home that night, and I remember sitting at the table with my dad, and my dad and I weren't really close because I think I was a pain in the ass, and he was like, just stay over there. Mm-hmm. But so I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to drop out of school and go to work full time. And he looks at me and said, son, that's a very adult decision. I know my dad well enough. I said, oh, man, there's something else coming here. This is a two-beater for
next?
sure.
Yeah.
And he said, where are you going to live? And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, he said, if you're not going to school, you're not living here. And I'm 16. I had to be 16 by then. And I was like, oh. But I told Roy I was going to work full-time. Mm-hmm. I was going to drop out of school. And again, this is how New Mexico works. Today you couldn't do this, but in a small town in New Mexico, I went to the music store where I bought my guitar strings, and I told the guy that worked, what was his name? Joe Garcia? And I'm like, hey, I know you've got some apartments. Is there any chance I could rent an apartment? And he was like, oh, yeah, I've got one upstairs above the music store. It's just in $335 a month. I'm like, sweet. I'll take it.
Get out.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
16 years old, all my buddies used to tell their parents, hey, I'm going to stay over at Aaron's house. They had no idea
that you
I
were
had my own place.
Yeah.
So,
You sly dog you.
Yeah. So,
did you become cooler to the chicks now?
Yeah. My opportunities changed, but it was, yeah, it was pretty cool. We had a lot of fun, but it was also funny. I got to tell another funny story about my dad. Now you got me thinking about that.
Hell yeah.
So I get my apartment. I'm like, sweet, go out to my house. This is how stupid I was. And I've got my buddies with me, and we go upstairs and start taking my bed apart. And my dad comes up and he's like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I got an apartment. I came to get my furniture. He's like, that's not your furniture. So I was like, fair point, I guess. I'm sure I was pissed, but he was like, if you go out to the horse barn, you and your brother, the bunk beds you had when we were kids are still out there. He said, you can take those if you want. So, yeah, my first apartment, I had bunk beds.
Okay, so
now how's the chick
yeah. The chick meter went down substantially.
Yeah. Was he trying to convince you not to to drop out of school, and you were just like impervious and like pound sand? I'm doing this, or like, or is that just your old man is being like, this is life?
Yeah, I think that was just kind of the. Yeah. My dad was a guy that he literally forged papers to get into Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
Definitely a rebel. Mm-hmm. He's a guy, he never graduated high school, didn't go to college. Mm-hmm. He was just a really hard worker. He's an entrepreneur, and my whole family is entrepreneurs, which is how I ended up, I think, where I ended up. But no, I don't think he necessarily, I think if truth be told, and a long time later, one of my teachers in school, one of my high school teachers, actually, my dad ended up, his second wife was one of my high school teachers. And Sherry and Lisa, these two high school teachers that knew me well in school, told my dad, and it's probably what he should have done. He wasn't, I could have graduated, but it was like I was, I was going to do something else.
You just went to work for Joe. Oh no, Joe was the music guy.
Roy.
Yeah. So, how many 8-track players did you take out and put in cassette players?
A lot. God, it's terrifying to think about the things I did to cars. You know what a nibbler is? Have you ever used a nibbler? No, it's a metalworking machine, and a nibbler basically you drill a hole and it takes little tiny bites of metal.
Okay.
So back in those days, all the car doors, there weren't speakers in the doors; they were just in the dash.
Yeah.
So everybody was adding speakers, and better speakers, and so I'd pop off door panels and drill a hole in it and take a nibbler, which is impossible to control, and just cut a big hole and try to fit a speaker in it. Yeah, I did that all the time. We did some crazy stuff. Yeah, but
all right.
It was kind of the dawning age where power amplifiers were coming out,
just starting to come out.
Yeah. So I got lucky there and learned a trade, so to speak.
Yeah.
And did that for quite a while. I did it and moved to Albuquerque and did it for a while, and yeah.
Okay, so we're 16. We're on our own. We got stories. The old man gave you the bunk beds.
So, do you grocery shop on your own, and you take care of all of that now on your own?
Yeah. I was pretty much on my own. The way I remember it. I think I only had that apartment for maybe 6 or 8 months or something. And then one of my buddies, George Athens, his mom Rose, I think she just decided that I probably should do something. I probably should live somewhere not on my own. So she took me, and I moved in with the Athens family and lived with them, and that was cool. But yeah.
All right. So how long? So what did you do next? So how long were you doing car install at that location?
For a couple. Well, for Roy, probably another year, and then a company called Paradise Automotive. I think that was Paradise for sure. They needed a car audio guy, and me being a kid, and I felt like it was a bigger store across town, and so I went to work for them and did that, and then I was playing music, and that's when music really got going for us, and so we had a really good band in Gallup and got a pretty good reputation, and we would travel and play, and so I was installing car audio equipment, and then we were doing the music gig, and that was pretty cool. So that's straight out of a book.
Book.
Yeah, like a teenage angst book. You are the rebel that comes in and has the high school prom queen like fall in love with him.
Yeah, it was. Well, that didn't happen, but yeah. So we played music and
You still playing bass at this time?
You know, I really haven't for quite a while, especially since we opened the store. And playing bass by yourself isn't a real good time, at least the way I do it.
Okay.
So I play acoustic guitar when I'm just sitting around.
Oh, right on.
But yeah,
very cool.
Not much bass playing anymore.
All right. Well, sorry.
So I have more questions, but Will's not going to want my questions because I'm going to speed it up.
Are you jumping around on the timeline?
Well, I'm ready to find out like how it is Missy, like how
No.
No.
That's a long time forward.
Really?
Missy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How long have you guys been together?
About 11 years.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some time to cover.
We have some time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pause.
Yeah. Don't make me get the bass guitar out and I don't know, serenade you.
Will.
What?
Yeah.
Stop.
I'll get the banjo. Ding 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 ding. I follow a guy on TikTok who makes something called the friendly banjo. Check it out. It's pretty cool. He made a 3-string banjo to teach people how to play banjo, whatever. Cool. All right, so now you're in Galveston, you said?
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
Well, Gallup, New Mexico. We
yeah,
we moved the band to Albuquerque because we were, we were a cover band, but we were a pretty good one. So we moved.
Is your brother? Are you with your brother still?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
cool.
Yep. My brother. Eric's a great guitar player, and he lives up here now. But he's lived up here for, God, I don't know, probably 30 years now. I say that like it just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was me and my brother and Fred Azua playing drums, a couple different other guitar players, and a guy named Greg Anaya who moved on to, he was in a bunch of different bands, Tribe of Gypsies out in California. He's on some documentaries back in the metal era.
Oh, wow.
He was friends with, like, everybody under the sun, like, rock gods out in California. Mm-hmm. He ended up singing with Carlos Santana on tour.
Oh, wow.
No way.
Yeah, Greg was, like, seriously the most talented human I've ever met. And unfortunately, he died in a motorcycle accident, but it was really, really sad because the guy, artwork, sculpture, he was a Navajo guy that was just Laguna Indian, actually, not Navajo. But he was just insanely talented. If you ever look up Greg Anaya, Analla, you'll find his artwork and his music, and he's amazing.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
wow.
Without him, it would have been a different story.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, yeah.
He was kind of like the fuel, like the...
Yeah, finding somebody that can really sing.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when we started school in Gallup, New Mexico, one of the first things I remember in Gallup, we went to a pep rally, and Greg's band...
Like a high school pep rally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Greg's band with his guitar player named Dave Campos, they played at the pep rally, and they did Dio, a couple of Dio songs. And the guy sang I'm just sitting there going, are you kidding me that this exists in Gallup, New Mexico? It was amazing. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. So how long are we doing this whole band thing?
The band stuff continued in iterations and, different people in different places, but in New Mexico and until my cousin came down and bought a car from my dad. My cousin Rusty and I were always close, although he lived, so if I had a vacation in the summer, I went to Duluth.
Oh, okay.
Hung out with
From
my
New
cousin.
Mexico.
Yeah, from New Mexico.
Wow.
And sometimes in the Cessna, which, by the way, flying across country in a Cessna with a guy smoking Marlboros. Yeah. He was, my dad was like, I don't know why you always get airsick. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's the Marlboros, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, so we either drove or flew the plane up, and so I got to spend a lot of time with my grandparents up in Duluth with my cousin Rusty. And so Rusty, now he lives in Florida, but he came down to buy a car, and I was just kind of, I don't know, I think I was, at a point where I probably should start adulting a little, stop. The music thing was, music was great, but I was still in New Mexico, and I was just kind of, at that point, I moved from Albuquerque back to Gallup and was just kind of flailing, trying to figure out what I was going to do. And he was like, well, why don't you just come back and I'll get you a job in Minneapolis and you can move in with me.
Like, okay.
Okay.
How long did it take you to make that decision?
about that long.
Okay. That's what I was guessing.
Yeah.
That's what I was guessing.
Yeah, it was funny because he had a 2-door car that he bought from my dad, and I was like, I'm trying to think of like how much stuff do I have, and really didn't matter. I gathered up. I literally took the speakers out of my bass cabinet because I'm like, well, I can't take the cabinet, but I'll just take the speakers.
Okay. Yeah.
Dumbest thing ever. Like what am I gonna do with the speakers? Anyway, so I moved to St. Paul. We lived in St. Paul, worked in Minneapolis. So that was 1989. Yeah.
Just boom, did it.
Yeah. I was
Wow.
20. I was 20. Yep.
So what? Now you're in St. Paul, the booming metropolis of St. Paul.
But your dad and mom and family are still in Albuquerque, or like not Albuquerque, but New Mexico.
My dad, my mom. Yep, they're all back home.
Okay.
Yep, mom and dad had separated and remarried other people. And,
Okay.
Yep.
And then, so now what are we doing? Like, what do you for work?
My
band.
Rusty was working at a company called Zipsort in Minneapolis. It's like if you can imagine where the U.S. Bank Stadium is
Chicago.
No, University right there, where it used to be, where all the tailgating happened.
Yep.
Oh yeah, okay. Yep.
Back
Washington.
when Metrodome was there.
It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Anyway, right there now it's all giant apartment buildings and everything, but that's where Zipsort used to be, and he got me a job there. Yeah, basically sorting mail and doing dumb stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, mindless stuff.
And how long were you there for?
Quite a while. Probably 3 years, 2-3 years.
Wow.
Quite a pretty good run. I moved with them from one building to another and over in the warehouse district up the road in Minneapolis. And I was didn't have a car because Rusty had a car, but I didn't have a car. So I was riding the bus from St. Paul to Minneapolis, and I was just a redneck idiot. I had no idea what was going on. Like switching buses terrified me. I didn't know. It was a huge city compared to where I mean.
Oh yeah.
Huge
Metropolis.
So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So yeah, but I got around and started meeting some people and ended up playing music again and.
And at this point, sorry, Will, I don't mean to be jumping, but I'm just curious.
Fine.
At this point, is there any interest in barbecue?
Well, and when I was in New Mexico, I mean, we grew up.
Good story. You told me this earlier. Yeah. Good point.
We when I was in La Plata, New Mexico, I mean, there was no McDonald's. There was no. I mean, it was 12 miles to go to school, and there was nothing. There was a really good restaurant called Coyote Den, which did like steaks and lobster and stuff, but we very rarely went there. That was the closest thing to us. So. And my dad cooked a lot. I want to say a lot. Sorry, Mom. Mom's going to say that's not true. But Mom didn't love cooking. My dad loved grilling steaks and stuff. And we, like I said, when we had the Corvette rallies out there, I remember them doing pig roasts. And even when I lived in Albuquerque with the band one time, we pit roasted a pig. So I always think about the neighbors because we were these wild, long-haired musicians that lived next door, and all of a sudden we're digging a hole in the backyard.
Oh, gosh.
And
they're like,
they don't know
one of them's down. One of them.
They're not calling the cops. They're just putting them in the back.
We dug a hole, wrapped a pig in banana leaves, and started a fire and threw a pig in, dug it up the next day, and it was amazing. So I'd been doing stuff all the time. If you were lucky enough to afford protein, I remember at that time, I mean, I don't think we had plates, at this band house, but we somehow pit roasted a pig. But I'd always been interested in food, and I'm to this day I'm not a fan of fast food. It's just not for me.
Nope, hard pass.
Yeah.
All right, so we're working in Minneapolis and living in St. Paul. Like what's next? Like what are you?
Are you just like making it? Like is money flush?
No. It was I bounced around for a few jobs after I left Zipsort. I was a courier for a while. I was driving a courier van from Minneapolis to Rochester every day.
Oh, okay.
And I was playing music, so I would be up until 3:00 in the morning, bar close.
Yep.
And load out, go home, sleep for a couple hours, 2-3 hours, and get in a van and drive to Rochester. Yeah.
Good life decision.
Crazy, but no money, not flush.
Yeah.
No, that was me and my cousin and a bunch of guys. We used to get showing my age here, but Meisterbrow was glass bottle beer that you can get for, I don't know. I wanna say it was like $8 a case.
Yep.
It was cheap, whatever. But in addition, not only was it cheap, but if you brought the cases back, you got
your
refunds. You got refunds.
Yeah.
So I remember bringing back, we were so impressed with ourselves. We'd bring back enough cases to get a case of beer for free.
Congratulations.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Money was not a thing.
So that beer, it's crazy you brought that beer up. We were redoing our basement recently, last year, and we were pulling out all the walls.
Is that the bottle?
That's the bottle of beer that the kid who was helping remodel the house wrote a note on there how he's going to be a famous architect one day.
No way.
I'm dead serious, and I have a photo of it.
You put it like in a Meisterbrow bottle?
No. So the beer is that
in the bottle.
And he
the beer's in the bottle?
Yeah, the beer's in the bottle, and there's a note, and he says, "I'm going to be a famous architect
That's
one day." That's
questionable decision making, right there.
And I looked the guy up. He literally is a famous architect in New York now, and that's
no shit.
Yeah, I haven't. I want to take a photo of it. And like, I tried to reach out to him via LinkedIn, but I couldn't get a hold of him. So I think I'm going to put it on social media now with this post and be like,
you got to get a hold of him. And the first question's got to be, why didn't you drink the beer?
I'm sure he drank plenty of other ones.
It's weird, though. So he attached it to a beer bottle?
Yeah, so in the wall, he just put the beer bottle in the note, knowing that someday somebody would be taking this wall down and find it, and we found it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Oh, awesome.
It's ridiculous.
Let me know how that ends up.
I will. Okay, so we're returning cases of beer. We're doing great.
We're driving to Rochester.
We're struggling. We are struggling.
We're doing fantastic. Ramen's on the menu.
Yeah, we oh man, there's so many stories now that I'm trying to keep up with. So playing music, and we ended up, my cousin and I got connected with a guy that put on concerts in a little building in, I keep saying warehouse district, but that's not the modern term for Minneapolis. What is that area? You know where all the metal recycling companies are?
Up in Northeast.
Yeah. What are why am I forgetting what they call it now? Anyway.
Not the quarry.
Yeah. I know.
Anyway, yep.
So
it don't matter.
They were doing these like underground keggers basically with these bands from all over the place. So we'd book bands from like Milwaukee and like pretty.
Wow.
Like not famous bands, but definitely in the area. Good metal bands, good, scream loud stuff. But it was, So
when you say metal, are you like?
Yeah, it was coming. That was coming. Yeah.
Okay.
That was in this era. In this area, so it was bands like Power Mad, Insidious Prophets, and we
don't know any of those, but that's
Dixie
okay.
Chicks.
Yeah, you guys aren't. You're too young.
I'm also not a huge metalhead, but I
wasn't either.
Chris Hockey on K-Fan, I'm gonna send him this episode because he's a huge metalhead.
I'm a big Chris Hockey fan. He's great.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
awesome.
and he can relate because he and I are similar ages.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Especially the California cruise you're talking about. Yeah.
So I went to California, by the way. Sidebar. I went to Los Angeles and I was like, oh my, not for me. Not for me.
Okay.
No. I had to get the hell out. No, couldn't do LA. I was there for a minute. I mean, not even a month.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So quick.
Yep. I was thinking about going to music school out there because I had two buddies that were doing it. But yeah, no, not for me. It worked. I mean, he did well, but he's another guy that's just such an amazing singer. Mm-hmm. Like Greg. I wonder if Chris Hockey would know who Greg and I is.
He knows so much about
it would not
the metal
surprise
band.
me now that I think about it. That's crazy.
Okay, so we're in Minneapolis. We're doing underground keggers. Like, when do we get what would we consider a big boy job?
Oh boy,
if ever.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So I got a job with a company called OmniTrack Surgical. Somewhere along the way, I got a gig with them. They were just looking for like assemblers and just whatever. Mm-hmm. And I got a job in their metal fabrication department. And small family-owned medical device company. It's just really, really a cool company. And so I started as a fabricator with them and learned to do. I was building surgical retraction systems for this company. Mm-hmm. And, to this day, my fantasy football team has been around for 30 years with these guys that I started with. Back in this.
Seriously?
Yeah, and we've got the same group of guys. It's pretty. Now my kid's in it with us, but Yeah, I worked for them and it actually worked my way up to running the manufacturing side of that plant over 22 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So I mean, you went from vagabond, across the country doing some stuff to you found a spot.
Yeah. Here's what happens, or at least did for me. You get somebody pregnant, and all of a sudden you feel like you have to do something different with your life. Maybe this courier job's not quite what a dad should be doing. Maybe I should be. Yeah, so I got a gal pregnant, and that definitely changed my life and had me rethinking priorities for sure. So, and I was lucky. They were a great company to work for. The Levon family, Steve Levon, his dad was. It was a really cool company and kind of growing. They've since sold and it's not in town anymore. But yeah, it was a great run. So
wow. So you started doing that in the early 90s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. And I mean, Sarah, I got a question for you.
How was it as a young dad, working, doing the band scene,
Yeah, that was, the band that I was in for a long time, when I was in a band called Psychohead, which was like a Red Hot Chili Peppers kind of.
Oh, nice.
band.
Okay.
It was really fun.
I get that vibe.
Yeah, we did a lot in the Twin Cities. We played played main stage at First Avenue. We played everywhere.
Very cool.
There's not many bars in town. Played at Bunkers a lot. Well, that was actually later in life, but yeah. And then that band kind of fizzled, and then my ex-wife Tracy got pregnant. Dang it, Tracy! Not kidding. Not kidding.
Damn you,
Tracy! I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
But so Tracy and I were trying to figure things out, and she had a good job. She was working for U.S. Bank, but another, she didn't go to college, or so we were kind of we were getting our act together and trying to figure out how to be good parents, and we were. So, but
and that was your son.
Yeah,
you had a son.
Yep, Evan. Yeah, he was born in '95. Yeah, definitely a world changer. Just it can't explain it. All of a sudden you have this little life that, this eyes
Depends
staring up
on
at you like, I was trying to figure out how to feed myself half the time, and I'm like, holy crap. But yeah, it got my head straightened out. I still played music. I remember taking Evan in the stroller to band practice out in Stillwater with this band I was in called Godsend 50. And yeah.
Did you put little ear protectors on his ears?
So our drummer's mom, Jason Crump's mom, would take care of Evan while I went in the basement and played music, and then I'd come up and scoop him up, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's super cool. So do we want to, is this a two-parter?
No, I really want to get to the...
Yeah, I mean, we're 50 minutes in here.
I have a few questions. How did you get to the barbecue shop?
The barbecue store?
It means that we're going to skip a few things, but it's okay. I really want to know, how did you open up your barbecue shop?
So we were doing all the barbecue competition stuff, and Missy and I, you've had the Lucky 19 sauce, our barbecue sauce. So we started Lucky 19 8 or 9 years ago. Missy and I did, and we started doing barbecue competitions. And I was telling you earlier, we did the World Food Championship in Las Vegas, and we started just expanding our universe in barbecue. And of course, Tony had Qtopia Barbecue Supply in the same location. And Tony was a competition guy, but he also sold our sauce for us.
Okay.
He was one of the first places that actually, I thought it was, oh my God, we have our sauce on a shelf now. That was pretty cool. So we got to know Tony through competition barbecue, and we were at a barbecue competition. God, doesn't matter. We're at this contest, and we're all hanging out drinking, and I was talking to Tony, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna move back to Iowa." Tony had gone through a divorce, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to move back home to Muscatine." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" I said, "What are you going to do with the store?" And he said, "I don't know. I might shut it down. I might sell it. I don't know."
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and doing what Aaron does. My brain going a million miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was working at 3M out in Cottage Grove, but so I was like, God, we got the car to drive home, and I looked at Missy, and I said, I told her the story with Tony, and I said, why don't we just buy the barbecue store? And she's like, we're not buying a fucking barbecue store. 6 months.
not doing that.
Yeah,
6 months later.
6 months later, we owned it. So yeah,
Oh,
it's
shit.
just another example of Missy. She's really good at that. Just dragging her feet, but she loves it. She absolutely. She's there every Saturday with me, and we have a great time doing it. But yeah, she absolutely loves the store, and you know, if you've been there,
Yeah, like,
it would not
yes.
look like that without Missy. So yeah.
Oh, it's very well organized and
Thanks.
sharp and put together and intuitive. Well, Sarah enjoys it even.
Yeah. So I have another question though. Now
Yeah.
I can ask my question. How did you meet Missy?
Match.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we met on Match as kind of.
So did we.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, that's serious, yeah.
we're matchmates.
Yeah.
But
But,
whatever you call that.
Match.com. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, I remember thinking, I'm like, oh, there's no way, you know.
Right.
I'm a single dad, you know, and had my house out in River Grove Heights, and yeah, and Missy was the second date I went on, and it's funny because I thought for sure, I'm like, this is gonna take a while,
Yeah.
and so I paid for a year in advance, paid for a year of Match.
I think Will did too.
No, I signed a 2-year lease and I was married before that lease was up.
Wow,
Yeah, right there.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
We Missy, it was funny. She always tells people she had like 7 more dates lined up, and she's canceled. I guess, you know.
So she says, right?
She canceled 6 of them. She kept that one
Right,
guy.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we ended up, you know, obviously clicked. But I'm like, I've still got this Match membership. So when we first started just hanging out at her house and stuff, I'd get, you know, emails from, you know, potential
Yep.
partners on Match, and so
Yep.
Missy and I would sit there and look at my other options on Match. She always would tell me, I go for it, I dare you.
Yeah, I
Go for it."
I dare you.
Well,
She was always right.
There was this one
Oh, my
time that
gosh.
Will, I went to close my Match.com profile down. And
Oh, yeah.
when I opened it up, it showed that Will was active within 2 hours. And I
not.
was like,
I was not.
that mother trucker.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be a problem, and I am furious.
Yeah. Yep. So here I am. I'm at work, and at this time I had a desk job, and for a very short period of time, and she calls me and she's like, "Why are you on Match?" And I'm like,
I was so
"What are
angry.
you talking about? I haven't been on that since literally the first time we went on a date together. Like, no." And I was starting to pull articles because I obviously wasn't the only person who got in trouble for this. If you had the app on your phone, it showed that you were still active, so your profile would be more present or whatever.
God.
So I had to send her all of these things.
I hope they've changed that now.
I don't know. But don't care.
Not going to find out.
Not gonna find
Yeah.
So
out.
you spent the rest of that day
I
building
did.
a case.
I did. I was 100% building a case, and I was emailing her articles, and I'm like, babe, I swear to God,
I wasn't on Match.
I wasn't on Match.
Yeah.
So you guys married how quickly?
18 months the day we met.
Wow. So Missy and I aren't far behind that, but we got engaged like 8 years ago, and
Oh.
she's still dragging it out. You know,
Missy.
she's not sure. You know,
She's still testing the water.
Yeah.
She's heard these stories, so she's smart enough to know.
She still got her app on. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for
I
sure.
dare you.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so
yeah.
one more. I have a couple more questions. I'm
Yeah.
not quite done yet. What do you do for like beard maintenance?
Good
Way
question.
too much. The funny thing is, I don't do a lot. But yesterday I got a beard trim because I'm going to Vegas.
Oh.
But that's like super rare.
And do you go up somewhere to get the beard trim, or?
Yeah, Roosters, right by the
need to-
store. Yeah, yep. There's some gals there that
Okay.
I think it was Angela that yesterday. Usually Amanda, but they always kind of take care of me, and it's so weird. Like you know, I don't get haircuts because I don't have any hair on my head. I just
Yeah.
shave my head. But when you get your beard trimmed, you know what you don't do?
What?
Talk.
Oh.
I mean, you can't be sitting there.
I didn't think
like,
about that.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's not like you're not there for half an hour, but you can't be
Yeah.
sitting there just jabbering
It's
away.
like the dentist when they
So
start asking
I
you
always
questions.
feel bad for them because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll talk to anybody, but yeah. So I just kind of lay there. She was nice enough yesterday to do the hot towel thing.
Yes.
I've never had that. And I was like,
The hot shave is something different.
I didn't have the shave, but
How the hell would you know?
Not for me.
Oh, I'm like, that's interesting.
What's your beard maintenance?
Yeah.
Well, some days.
Yeah, Cindy.
As we've gotten into our 40s, things pop up. I've just in the past, Will.
What's going on with that one? Okay. Yeah, well, moving on. Wow.
If you actually grew some whiskers, I could get you one.
Can't.
But
I mean, I can't. If I don't shave for 3 days, it just looks so bad. It's just patchy. It's the worst.
Okay, so now barbecue. So are you still doing competition? Is Vegas for fun?
Don't know. We sold the trailer, so we sold the RV, and we've got to figure that out. And I'm sure we'll do some this year. We always do the American Royal, which is the biggest barbecue competition in the world. It's amazing, and anybody that's into barbecue should just go to the Royal and just walk around. I mean, guys like, Tuffy Stone and, just everybody that you'd ever seen on TV for barbecue is they're there.
And where is it? Where's the Royal?
It's in Kansas City at the Kansas Speedway. So it's in the infield at the Kansas Speedway. There's 500 barbecue teams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, we got we've always done fairly well there, considering. So there's an invitational on day one, which is you have to have a grand championship in that year to go to the invitational. And then, so that's usually, last year was 250 teams, I think, in the invite. I can't remember. It was a lot. And then the open is like 500 teams. But we got 13th place ribs in the invitational, and I was happy with that. So,
wow. I mean, so I've taken a couple of the classes you guys put on.
Yeah.
I think they're incredible.
Thanks.
We need another brisket class.
Yeah, the competition though, that stuff is, man, you have to really love I love to cook.
Yeah.
I don't have the presentation and then the first bite, and it looks really pretty, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But man, 5 minutes clipping one thigh or whatever, that's just insane.
Yeah, the devil's protein chicken.
It's,
it is. Everybody dreads chicken. It's So Missy and I, for chicken, we'll buy 2 cases of chicken cook, and we'll cook 16 thighs, and we'll turn in 6.
Get out.
So how many cases? How many thighs are in a case?
It depends on how they're packed, but 48.
So out of the 48, you pick 16.
No. 96.
90.
So I should say that's for a double. When we do a double, which is 2 contests in a row. So most contests we buy a case, but yeah, they're all weighed. They're all weighed before we trim them. They're weighed after we trim them. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
And how do you go about practicing the recipe or practicing the craft?
We used to. It's really hard because certified barbecue judges, they're the ones that matter. In your opinion, you have to train yourself to think like a barbecue judge. What you like I like spicy food. Mm-hmm. That's not going to work for competition barbecue.
Okay.
So I call it boring ass barbecue. It's good barbecue. You've had it.
Yeah.
But it's not. You're trying to not too salty, not too sweet, not too spicy, not too smoky, and pretty. Yeah. So it's just kind of everything right down the middle. Nothing that when you take a bite, there's nothing that offends you, nothing that makes you feel like you're, there's something to score you down on.
Yep.
So
I want the food to kind of kick me in the teeth a little bit. I want a flavor.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, the competition chicken you guys cooked was good. It was good. It was good.
Yep.
But but when y'all made the ribs that one day, the good ribs, and and he was just seasoning it the way he wanted to, and it wasn't a competition.
That was Dustin Reese from Hogline. He'll be back. I think it's our April 24th. I think we haven't put it out yet. I shouldn't even be talking about it, but yeah, Dustin.
Get your tickets now.
In the show notes, we'll have a link. You could probably sell more tickets now, though.
Yeah, we need to get it on the website.
Because more space too.
Yep. True. Yeah. So Dustin, Dustin's a world champion. Well, no, almost world champion cook. He's been second place at the American Royal twice.
Those ribs.
He's a hell of a cook.
Yeah.
So if you were going to go to the American Royal, as a guest,
yeah.
How do you do it? What are the tips?
Yeah, you just buy tickets, and you get out there, and they've got shuttles that bring you in. Do it on Friday night. So Friday night, it's weird when you're cooking because Friday nights, If you're in the invitational, you're like I get up at 4:00 in the morning on Saturday morning to cook.
Yeah.
So, but Friday nights are there's I don't know, there's got to be 30,000 people there.
Whoa.
It's a lot. It's a lot. The whole infield is just packed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of corporate tents, like Traeger,
Sponsors
Green Mountain,
and, yep.
All these companies are out there. There's all kinds of organizations, Reesers, but there's parties all over, and then there's a contest for parties too. So best party. So I
could win that.
Yeah,
I could throw a party.
We stuff beers in our pockets and koozies and everything we can, and just go wander, and it's awesome. And then I got to put myself in bed and
get up
put my
at 4
game
in the
face
morning.
on. Yep.
And then with the Royal with 30,000 other people there, is it hard to get food?
So on Friday night, there's kind of it depends on the party you're at. There's usually food around.
Okay.
And, we always cook at our trailer, and you guys, if you come out, we'll feed you.
We have friends in Kansas City.
I won't say no.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's a really, really cool.
And when is
unique.
the Royal? Like month? You don't know the
It's
dates.
moved around a little bit. September, October. I think I just heard today that it's the first weekend in October again. So
Awesome.
like October 1st or something.
We just may have to make a road trip to Kansas City, Will.
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time.
When we went to the barbecue show last year at the Saints Stadium, Will was like, I don't even need to be at the barbecue, like the going around as like a...
Oh, at Grill Fest?
Yeah, Grill Fest.
Yeah.
Like how he just walked around. He's like, I just want to help Northern Barbecue.
I did.
We had so much fun that day. I mean, we brought out all of our sponsored teams and everybody.
Yeah.
It was just a blast.
And the food was so good, those seasonings. You guys,
Thanks.
I am not a barbecuer. I don't really know how. I like to cook things fast, so I overcook. And Will is more of...
Thermapen.
Yeah.
Will is definitely more of that low and slow and like more...
Yeah.
You're just way more particular than I am.
When it comes to cooking proteins,
grilling.
yeah. Yep.
Yes. But if you need any grilling supplies, spices, and I'm not just saying this, like... I just consume the goods, and it is so worth it. Okay, so Aaron, one more question. What is your favorite grill that you sell?
Grills, device. You say device.
Device.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm conflicted because we've got, now, it's our career, but so at home we've got a Traeger on the deck. For competitions, we bring out a drum smoker and... our Yoder, you've seen my Vikings.
Yeah,
Yoder.
so your drum smoker is like the north-south lifting, right? Not a barrel smoker?
It's a barrel smoker.
It's a barrel smoker, okay.
Yep. The Outlaw patio is probably my favorite thing to cook on.
That thing is pretty sweet.
Yeah, Outlaw, they're made in Indiana by a guy named Jay Craig. They're literally, in the barbecue competition world, there's pretty much Jambo out of Texas and Outlaw Smokers out of Indiana. So Jay does an amazing job. The Outlaw patios are the only ones that they sell through a barbecue supply store like ours. I don't even know how many stores they have in the country now, but probably seven or eight. But yeah, that's my favorite
that's a
thing.
sweet looking machine. It's like
It's awesome.
the pneumatic tires on it are sweet.
The big golf cart tires.
Yes, it's got the
Have
rack.
I seen this?
Yeah, it's got the rack for the wood underneath it. It's got even got the handle to pull it like a trike type
What
thing.
does something like that cost?
Now, unfortunately, in the modern era, it's about $6,000, $6,200.
Yeah, but it's gonna last you forever because it's like what is it, like 1/4-inch steel?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna last forever.
Yeah, it's not something you're.
I only asked that because I know Will's going to want to get one
I've
someday.
wanted one for a
so
while.
So it's like I need to know how many houses I have to sell.
Yeah.
So if you're listening,
and you want to support my barbecue habit and support Aaron's store, buy a house from Sarah.
I like that
basically
idea.
is how
I like all those
This
ideas.
is a damn good jam. I like that idea for sure.
Can I tell you my favorite device from your store?
Yeah, please.
Oh yeah, I know.
Our pizza oven.
The Alpha.
The
Yes.
Alpha. I am telling you, that thing is a game changer, and we have not used it this winter very much because of the snow and it's on our deck.
Right.
But I've already decided for my birthday, I just want a pizza party.
It's fun. And
we're working on getting a guy up here, Matt Frampton from Urban Slicer. Hopefully we're going to have him up for a pizza class this fall.
Yes.
The Urban Slicer, the pizza dough you guys sell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, so we've tasted a lot of dough.
It's our favorite.
Good.
And it is one of our favorites.
Good. Matt's doing a great job. He's an awesome dude. So hopefully we'll get them up here.
So people have asked us about our pizza oven. I'm like, you guys, this is way more than pizza.
Oh,
You know
gosh.
what's funny is when we started selling pizza ovens, I never really thought I just, it was another kind of alley that we could pursue. And there's barbecue dorks like me, and then there's pizza people that are really into pizza. But
massive pizza nerds.
So guys come in looking at the equipment, the Outlaws and Yoders and everything, and the gals are really drawn to pizza ovens.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is, but chicks like pizza ovens.
I dig
so
it.
if you need one, get a pizza oven.
I dig it.
Yeah. Oh man, it's an all-day fun event. I now have several pieces of cast iron because I cook in cast iron in it.
Yeah, sweet.
So,
it's incredible.
Yeah.
So I can do potatoes. I can put the cast iron
That's
in
great.
there and
The carrots.
Oh gosh, the carrots
With like this
the creme fraiche.
and
Nice.
it's amazing. We'll have to have you over.
No,
Okay.
that's great.
Before we wrap up, I have one more question. Sorry, Will. Do you have more questions? Because I have one more.
In the year 2000.
Okay. So, if you were to give advice to other entrepreneurs, what would your advice be?
Do it. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Yep, do it. I waited way too long. It was in my blood. I waited way too long. I feared too much. It's kind of like having a kid. Actually, a lot like having a kid. Clean up some poop.
Shit happens.
Yeah. It's way too many people live in fear of doing the. Who was it that said that? Was it Joe Rogan? That most men live in quiet desperation, thinking about something they want to do, and it's just like, for God's sakes, give it a shot. Do it. We need more people. We need more entrepreneurs. We also need more people to recognize that Amazon isn't the end of the universe. There's people locally that are like spending their life trying to make good things for you locally. So like olive oil next door to us, like the popcorn store. Like every day when I go into work, it's like I look at all these entrepreneurs in these buildings. Marie, the hair salon, which is amazing. Apparently, I don't have hair, but
From what you've heard.
yeah, I mean they do a great business. So everybody in it, we really have a cool little mall. The confectioners is that their
Oh, they're
kitchen is-
so good.
yeah, they do. Their stuff's amazing.
Yes.
as well. And the liquor store, their Coors is always cold. So good.
And then what is it Jimmy's down at the restaurant? What's the restaurant?
No, it's a
Scoreboard.
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 Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I love it there. Yo-Yo and the popcorn shop and the oil shop and, of course, your shop.
Yeah.
Like, we are definitely loyal to that strip mall.
Thank you.
America. You got anything else?
A little piece of it.
Yeah.
Just the final question.
All right. So we end every episode by asking somebody their top 5 favorite restaurants. And it doesn't have to be
This is going to be interesting since Aaron doesn't like to eat out.
yeah. It isn't like fast food.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it could be because of
I
nostalgia.
do like to eat out.
Yeah. It could be because of nostalgia. Like we have somebody who says Olive Garden because he used to go there with his mother all the
Sure.
time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to exist anymore, and it can be anywhere in the world. So we'll go ahead and start with number
Oh, man.
5.
I had some ideas, but now you said it doesn't have to exist anywhere.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Now you're going to really... I got to stick to my original answers, or I'll be sitting here in this chair staring at the wall for 50 minutes. Coyote Den in New Mexico was awesome. Been gone for 40 years probably, but that place was great.
Are we going to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I got it. Like number 4. I got to sound cool.
Okay. God, and I don't even know if we're going in order. But okay, so that counts.
Doesn't have to be in order.
Coyote
Yeah.
Den's gone. Oh man. So growing up in New Mexico, I mean, there's so much great food down there, but I can't even really think of places. I can't think of the names of any of them right now for some reason. But if you go to Gallup, New Mexico, or Albuquerque, New Mexico, get green chili on anything. Like even when I was a kid, Pizza Hut in New Mexico, you got a green chili pepperoni pizza. It was phenomenal.
Are you serious?
Fast food, but I don't like fast food. But in New Mexico, there's a place called Lotta Burger, and they have green chili cheeseburgers that are freaking phenomenal.
Like Hatch green chilies?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
All right.
Yep. God,
That sounds really good.
That does sound good.
There could be a barbecue class
So
on
good.
this.
Yeah.
so good.
Just
All
saying.
right. Now we'll go to number 3.
Locally, I think Missy and I are big fans of Baja House.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Neiman Ranch steak and their crazy chicken, and yeah.
Mhm.
So we, that's kind of our go-to if we're gonna go. I think we're going out with some friends of ours. Then we just and we were like debating Bauhaus. It was
It's so
100%.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a great job, and it's kind of a fun atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's not huge, and I think I feel like it's a little unknown, but their food quality is just amazing. Their street corn. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Yes.
street corn.
I would just give me a cup of it.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's so
amazing.
good. Yeah, I don't share that when I get that. Yeah, it's so good. All right, we'll head over to number 2.
I'm a big fan of Six Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But you can't beat the lake. You can't beat the it's Nathan, our middle kid, worked there for a bit, so that was cool.
Ambiance
But
are sweet.
their bourbon bacon.
I was just
Yeah,
going to
it's the
say.
bourbon
Are you
bacon.
kidding me?
It comes
It's the
with the
bourbon
shot of
bacon.
bourbon.
Yeah, and what do you do with the bourbon when you get it?
So I used to dump it on it. Now I dunk it.
Do you? I
Now-
don't dunk it. I dump it on it, and then
Yeah.
I probably take half a shot. But,
I would say because I wanna
Mhm.
save a little bit.
Yep. But yeah, they do a really good job. Really, really good food.
And if you don't know what that is, 6 minutes out my Zeta.
So is Baja.
So is Baja. Yeah.
Opposite ends of
Yeah.
Yep.
Lake.
Lake Street.
Is it Lake Street?
Yeah. And Baja House is so Billy owns it. Billy used to own Billy's Sushi right there. Sushi
no,
Fix,
Billy owns-
excuse me, Sushi Fix, and now he owns Billy's Sushi downtown. But yeah, it's a great restaurant and such good quality and
Yeah.
fantastic. Number 1.
I might have to go 2.
Okay.
Because it's different things. So the place I go to all the time that's just kind of my go-to, and the guys, we order lunch for the store and stuff, and it's a hang. If you can find me there most nights. We spend a lot of time at Wild Boar in downtown Hopkins, and they've got a really diverse menu, and they're kind of always keeping things going. And I'm a big football fan. I think they have 80 freaking TVs in there. There's so
Wow.
many TVs. The
We didn't even get to
bar
talk
service
about
is great.
football.
Yeah.
No,
It's over.
We missed.
It's over.
There's a few things we didn't cover, but that's okay.
Yeah. So Wild Boar's really, really good. For burgers and just it's bar fare.
Is it right on the
But
corner?
they honestly, if you're a cheese curd person, I
Yeah.
think their cheese curds they're the best.
Oh, wow.
I honestly,
Do
they're
they
the
have
best.
pull tabs?
Yeah. They've
Okay.
got- yep.
That's all
pull
that matters.
tabs.
The answer
Oh,
is
yeah.
yes. Then I'm in.
Oh, you're in. Oh.
Cardboard crack.
Yep.
Let's
Been
go.
there, done that.
Yep.
Missy. Earmuffs.
Yeah. I have to carry a certain amount of cash with me when I go, and I cannot bring
You
my
have to.
debit card.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
the only way to
I
do
can't bring a bank card.
Nope.
it. Nope.
All right. And then what's your number 1 point A?
Well, one that I just feel like I got to shout out for Missy. Lago Taco in Excelsior is really good.
We have not been there.
Yeah, we
it's
have
good.
not.
It's for my liking, New Mexico style green chili.
Yes.
Not so much like the way I grew up, but it's always really good. It's a really small place, but yeah, they've got good food. If you get their spicy red sauce, it's the fun thing about it is that they make it, because some days I'll get it, I'm like, holy crap, I'm sweating like a pig, and other days it's just hot.
yeah.
So they're making it in house, and but yeah, they're great.
That's awesome.
It's really good stuff.
That's
So-
awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on today. Hopefully, it fulfilled all your wildest dreams and expectations.
I've never talked about myself so much in my life.
It,
Well, I was ready I was like, tell us more.
Oh, there's more stories. Like, we could just come back and be like, just do a story time,
Yeah.
and just be like, have some Coors Lights and just start going down rabbit holes of shit that you should have done, or didn't
Yeah.
do, or should have not done, or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. it's been good. We didn't even, we could have, the car accident.
Yeah, I'm just saying. There's a lot of stuff. You're gonna have
It's
to
all
come
right.
back.
It's
You're
all
gonna
right.
have to come back, man, because we're gonna go down some rabbit holes. But thank you so much for allowing us to kind of go through your life and the timeline. I super appreciate
problem.
it.
No problem.
And as always, we out. Deuces.